The 10 strangest black people in the world. What if I told you there are people whose lives sound too unbelievable to be true, yet every detail is real? From a 9-year-old college-bound genius to an 80-year-old grandmother who can outlift athletes and a man who remembers every single day of his life after a freak accident, these stories will leave you speechless. They're not just unusual. They're living proof that human potential knows no bounds. Get ready to meet the 10 strangest black people in the world, each with a story that will challenge everything you thought you knew. Watch now, subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence, and join the debate. David Belligan, in the quiet town of Bensalem, Pennsylvania, an extraordinary story was unfolding, one that would challenge every notion of childhood education and human potential. David Belligan, a boy with a gentle smile and boundless curiosity, became a name etched in history when at just 9 years old he walked across the stage to receive his high school diploma. For most children, this is the age of spelling bees and video games. For David, it was advanced calculus and college-level science. Born with an exceptionally high IQ and an insatiable thirst for knowledge, David's journey into academia began earlier than most. His parents noticed his remarkable intellectual abilities before he even started kindergarten. Teachers soon realized that traditional grade-level work couldn't keep up with his mind. Rather than being confined by age-based education, David was allowed to accelerate at his own pace, something that led him to complete years of schooling in a fraction of the time. By the age of 9, David was tackling subjects many adults find intimidating: engineering concepts, multiple foreign languages, and complex astrophysics theories. His dream to become an astrophysicist, exploring black holes, distant galaxies, and the origin of the universe itself. While many prodigies excel in one specific area, David's brilliance spans across disciplines from science and math to creative writing and computer programming. But brilliance alone doesn't explain his success. Discipline, support, and an environment that encouraged curiosity played equally vital roles. His parents, Rania and Henry Belligan, emphasized not only intellectual growth, but also emotional maturity, ensuring that David remained grounded despite his achievements. His teachers adapted lesson plans to meet his advanced level, while community members rallied around him, understanding they were witnessing a rare phenomenon. Here's something to think about. If you had the opportunity to skip years of traditional schooling to chase your passion earlier, would you take it? Or would you choose a slower path to enjoy the social side of growing up? Even with such incredible academic progress, David's life isn't without balance. He loves sports, playing the piano, and spending time with friends his own age. He's proof that intellectual acceleration doesn't have to mean missing out on childhood joys. Yet his story raises questions about how educational systems worldwide handle gifted children. Do we push them forward, or do we hold them back to fit the mold? David's future is as vast as the cosmos he dreams of studying. With college courses already under his belt before reaching his teenage years, he stands at the starting point of a career that could see him contributing to groundbreaking discoveries in physics, space travel, and perhaps even interstellar exploration. His determination and humility make him more than just a prodigy. They make him a role model for students and educators alike. In a world where potential is often boxed in by age and convention, David Belligan has broken the walls, proving that with the right environment, unshakable curiosity, and unwavering support, even a 9-year-old can reach for the stars, literally. Willie Murphy. When most people imagine their 80s, they think of slowing down, light walks, gentle hobbies, and maybe the occasional gardening session. But for Willie Murphy, life after 70 became a whole new arena of strength competition and breaking stereotypes. Known as the world's strongest grandma, Willie didn't just challenge the norms of aging, she demolished them one deadlift at a time. Born and raised in Rochester, New York, Willie didn't grow up lifting weights or training in gyms. In fact, she didn't even start powerlifting until she was in her mid-70s after picking up a free weight training guide at her local YMCA. What began as a casual attempt to stay healthy turned into a passion that would see her lifting more than people half her age. Her small 105-pound frame might fool you, but when she steps up to a barbell, she can deadlift over 200 pounds and bench press more than 100. Her training regimen is as intense as any professional athlete's, including strength workouts, resistance bands, push-ups, planks, and pull-ups. And she doesn't just do a few reps. She can knock out push-ups with ease, climb ropes, and perform weighted squats with perfect form. Willie quickly began entering local and national competitions, where she collected over 30 powerlifting awards in just a few years. What makes her story even more compelling is her motivation. Willie doesn't lift just for the medals, she lifts for health independence and to inspire others. She believes that maintaining strength later in life is essential for preventing injuries and living a fuller, more active lifestyle. Her energy and determination have made her a role model not only for seniors, but for anyone who's ever felt limited by their circumstances. If you could pick one, would you rather live a long life in average health or be stronger, faster, and more capable than people decades younger, even in your later years? Willie's achievements have earned her national attention. She's been featured on news outlets, fitness blogs, and talk shows, often wowing audiences by performing feats of strength live on air. But beyond the spotlight, she dedicates time to mentoring younger athletes and encouraging older adults to embrace strength training as a way to transform their quality of life. Her lifestyle is proof that age truly is just a number. Willie shops for her own groceries, shovels snow in the winter, and even helps neighbors with heavy lifting when needed. She often jokes that she's the one people call when furniture needs moving, an image that perfectly captures her personality: humble, strong, and always ready to help. Now in her 80s, Willie continues to train several days a week, showing no signs of slowing down. She's become a living testament to the fact that it's never too late to start, never too late to get stronger, and never too late to rewrite the rules of what aging looks like. Her story isn't just about muscles, it's about mindset. And that might just be the strongest thing about her. Annie Hawkins Turner. Norma Stitz. In the realm of world records, few are as instantly attention-grabbing as the one held by Annie Hawkins Turner, better known by her professional name, Norma Stitz. Recognized by the Guinness World Records for possessing the largest natural breasts in the world, measuring 102 zz. Annie's story is not just about physical size, but about resilience, confidence, and defying beauty standards. Born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, Annie grew up knowing she was different. From an early age, her chest developed far beyond that of her peers. This was the result of gigantomastia, a rare medical condition that causes excessive breast growth. While many might assume such a condition would be celebrated, Annie's youth was filled with challenges. She faced teasing in school stares from strangers and daily struggles to find clothes that fit or perform basic activities without discomfort. The weight of her chest, over 60 pounds in total, caused chronic back pain and made tasks like driving or exercising difficult. Despite these obstacles, Annie chose not to hide. Instead, she embraced her uniqueness and transformed it into a source of empowerment. In the 1990s, she began a career in modeling and adult entertainment, adopting the stage name Norma Stitz, a playful pun on enormous tits. She quickly became a niche sensation, gaining fans worldwide and proving that beauty is not limited to one shape or size. Annie leveraged her fame into entrepreneurship, managing her own website, and producing content that celebrated her body on her own terms. Here's a question for you. If you had a physical feature that brought you equal parts attention and difficulty, would you embrace it publicly or try to hide it from the world? Annie's public persona might have been built on shock value, but her personal mission is grounded in body positivity. She speaks openly about self-acceptance, encouraging people, especially women, to love themselves regardless of societal beauty ideals. Her message resonates strongly in an era where body diversity is slowly gaining mainstream acceptance. Her journey also includes moments of personal vulnerability. Annie has discussed how her condition can be exhausting physically and emotionally. She has had to adapt her lifestyle from specially tailored clothing to custom-made bras that cost hundreds of dollars each. Yet rather than viewing these as insurmountable problems, She treats them as challenges to be managed, never allowing them to define her life's direction. Today, Annie remains a cultural icon in both the adult entertainment industry and the broader conversation about body image. She continues to appear in documentaries, interviews, and online features using her platform to challenge stereotypes and redefine what it means to be attractive. For her, holding a Guinness World Record is not about fame. It's about owning her story, her body, and her power. Annie Hawkins Turner's legacy is one of unapologetic confidence. She stands as a reminder that beauty comes in all forms, and that embracing what makes you different can turn perceived flaws into a badge of pride. Antlemetsa Falati, in the small town of Hebron, in South Africa's northwest province, a remarkable young woman named Antlemetsa Falati, affectionately called Antlemetsa or the First Lady, lived a life that was both heartbreaking and awe-inspiring. She was born with Hutchinson-Gilford progeria syndrome, one of the rarest genetic disorders in the world, affecting only about 1 in every 4 million births. The condition accelerates aging at an alarming rate, making children appear elderly while still very young. Her family noticed signs early. By the age of 3, she had slowed growth, skin rashes, and other unusual symptoms. At first, doctors misdiagnosed her, but when the truth became clear, so did the grim reality: most children with progeria do not live beyond the age of 13. Rather than succumbing to despair, Antlemetsa embraced her uniqueness with unmatched courage and dignity. Standing at just over a meter tall, with thin hair and delicate aged skin, she became a familiar figure in her community. But she was far more than her appearance. She was sharp-witted, warm, and deeply determined to live fully. She called herself the First Lady, a title that reflected her self-respect and unshakable spirit. She pursued education relentlessly, preparing for her matric exams, and dreaming of studying psychology so she could help others navigate life's hardships. In 2017, just before her 18th birthday, she met then-President Jacob Zuma. The meeting was more than ceremonial. Zuma was visibly moved by her optimism and resilience. He granted her small wishes, a cake, flowers, a car for her family, and promises of support. That day, she shone brighter than ever, showing that dignity and joy can coexist with immense struggle. If you knew you had only a short time to live, would you focus on achieving as much as possible, or spend it savoring every small moment? Antlemetsa spent her days giving motivational talks at schools, inspiring young people to rise above adversity. She was proof that limitations, whether physical or societal, do not have to define a person's worth. Even as her health declined, she refused to give up her zest for life. On the day she passed, April 11, 2017, she had been choosing an outfit to attend Zuma's upcoming birthday celebration, a testament to her optimism until her final moments. Her funeral was a national moment of reflection. She was laid to rest, surrounded by loved ones, community members, and admirers from across the country. The primary school she attended was later renamed in her honor, and documentaries were produced to share her extraordinary story with the world. Today, Antlemetsa Falati is remembered not just as a medical rarity, but as a symbol of hope, perseverance, and self-love. Her life, though short, continues to echo in the lives she touched, proving that the measure of one's impact isn't counted in years lived, but in hearts inspired. Troy James. For most people, bending over to touch their toes is a stretch. For Troy James, it's just the warm-up. Born and raised in Brampton, Ontario, Canada, Troy possesses a level of flexibility that defies normal human anatomy. Nicknamed the human rubber band, he can twist, fold, and contort his body into shapes so extreme they seem to break the rules of physics. His spine bends backward at jaw-dropping angles, his limbs coil like rope, and his shoulders can rotate far beyond the average range of motion. What makes Troy's abilities so fascinating is that they aren't the result of years of circus school or gymnastics. He was born naturally hypermobile, meaning his joints can extend far past normal limits without injury. As a child, this made him a playground legend, performing tricks that left his classmates gasping. Yet it wasn't until adulthood that he realized his rare gift could become a career. Troy's big break came when his unique talent caught the attention of casting directors for film and television. His movements, eerie, otherworldly, and strangely mesmerizing, were perfect for roles that demanded something truly unsettling. Before long, he was landing parts in popular horror series such as The Strain and Channel Zero, where he played creatures so convincing that many viewers assumed his movements were enhanced with special effects. In reality, there was no CGI, just Troy's own extraordinary body control. If you had a physical ability that was both fascinating and a little frightening to others, would you proudly show it off or keep it hidden? Beyond horror, Troy's talents have taken him to talent competitions like America's Got Talent, where he stunned judges and audiences alike. His performances often leave people torn between amazement and discomfort, precisely the emotional reaction that makes him a sought-after performer in entertainment. Despite his success, Troy remains humble and approachable. Off stage, he's far from the terrifying figures he plays on screen. Friends and colleagues describe him as warm, funny, and generous with his time. He often visits schools and events to talk about embracing differences and finding confidence in uniqueness. For Troy, his flexibility is more than a performance gimmick. It's a reminder that the very things that make us stand out can become our greatest strengths. In addition to acting, Troy has worked in corporate settings, proving that his life is not defined solely by contortion. Yet it's his physical artistry that continues to open doors from live performances to special appearances at conventions and fan events. His career stands as an example of turning an unusual trait into a sustainable and fulfilling livelihood. Troy James has shown the world that sometimes the strangest abilities can be the most powerful. By leaning into what makes him different, quite literally, he's transformed a personal quirk into a global stage act. And in doing so, he's bent not only his body, but the limits of what we believe the human form can do. Makey Alante Lucky. In April 2016, a single photograph changed the life of a young man from Raleigh, North Carolina forever. Makey Alante Lucky, then just 20 years old, was arrested for speeding in a stolen vehicle. His mugshot, however, was anything but ordinary. With striking heterochromia, one vivid blue eye and one deep brown combined with sharp cheekbones and symmetrical features, the image spread across social media like wildfire. Within days, he was christened Prison Bay by fans online, and the internet fascination was unstoppable. The story could have ended there, another fleeting viral moment, but Makey turned it into something far bigger. St. Clair Modeling. A prominent talent agency saw the viral photo and signed him almost immediately. In a twist few could have predicted, a man whose first taste of fame came from a criminal arrest was suddenly walking high-fashion runways. He quickly booked work with luxury brands like Louis Vuitton, Helmut Lang, Philip Plein, and Laquan Smith, his unique eyes becoming his signature in an industry obsessed with individuality. Raised by his grandmother and godmother, Makey's early years were far from glamorous. He faced challenges that could have easily set his life on a very different path. But after his release, he committed himself to using his newfound platform to rebuild his future. His transformation from inmate to model wasn't just about good looks, it was about seizing a rare second chance. If one unexpected moment suddenly made you famous, good or bad, would you embrace the spotlight or walk away from it? Makey embraced it. He cultivated his image carefully, building a social media following that now exceeds 120,000 on Instagram and tens of thousands on TikTok. His feed is a blend of editorial photo shoots, candid behind-the-scenes glimpses, and moments from his life as a father. His ability to balance the polished world of fashion with the relatable aspects of everyday life has helped him maintain loyal fans. Critics have pointed out the irony of a modeling career launched by a mugshot, but Makey doesn't shy away from his past. Instead, he uses it to fuel his drive, reminding others that mistakes don't have to define a person's entire story. In interviews, he's spoken openly about the discipline required in the modeling industry, from maintaining fitness to managing an unpredictable schedule. Today, Makey continues to work with top photographers and designers, proving that his rise was not a fluke. His look, a mix of classic masculine features and the striking asymmetry of his eyes, remains in high demand, and he has even inspired conversations in fashion circles about unconventional beauty, from a police station snapshot to Paris and New York Fashion Week. Meki Alante Lucky's journey is a testament to resilience, reinvention, and the power of embracing what makes you unique. His story shows that sometimes the road to success takes an unexpected and, in his case, unforgettable turn. Ralph Souffrant. In the fashion world, standing out is everything, and Ralph Souffrant has a face you can never forget. Born in Haiti in 1995, Ralph moved with his family to Brooklyn, New York at the age of 9. From the very beginning, his deep brown skin, fiery red hair, and face covered in freckles made him a target for curiosity questions and, unfortunately, ridicule. As a child, he endured bullying and taunts from peers who didn't understand his unique appearance. Instead of breaking him, those experiences hardened his resolve. Ralph decided early on that he would never hide his freckles. In fact, he would make them his signature. His philosophy became simple. What makes you different is exactly what makes you powerful. That mindset would one day propel him to the center of the fashion industry. Ralph's break came unexpectedly when he attended an open casting call in New York City. Out of over 1,000 hopefuls, he was chosen to walk in Kanye West's Yeezy Season 3 show at Madison Square Garden, a career-launching opportunity that put him directly in front of global media. The exposure brought immediate attention from major brands, and Ralph soon signed with top agencies. If the thing people teased you about as a child suddenly became the reason for your success, would you embrace it or still try to change it? Ralph embraced it wholeheartedly. Since his debut, he has walked for Tommy Hilfiger, Fendi, and Adidas, and appeared in campaigns for H&M Diesel and Beyoncé's Ivy Park, where he became the first male model to front the brand. His editorial credits include Vogue, GQ, ID, and Numero, cementing his status as one of the most striking and versatile models of his generation. But Ralph's story goes beyond fashion. He has become an advocate for diversity and authenticity in an industry still battling narrow definitions of beauty. He often speaks about the importance of representation, particularly for young people of color who rarely see features like theirs celebrated on magazine covers. For Ralph, every shoot and runway appearance is an opportunity to show that beauty doesn't follow a single mold. Off the runway, Ralph leads a disciplined lifestyle. He's a fitness enthusiast and maintains a rigorous workout routine, which, paired with his high-energy personality, has made him a favorite with photographers and designers. He also uses his platform to mentor aspiring models, sharing both the glamour and the grind of the profession. Today, Ralph Souffrant's 100,000-plus Instagram followers look to him not just for style inspiration, but for confidence. His freckles, once a source of mockery, are now a global trademark, proof that self-acceptance can be the most powerful form of rebellion. His career continues to thrive, a living reminder that the very features that make you stand out can one day make you unforgettable. Miriam Nabatanzi. In the heart of Uganda, in a rural village north of Kampala, lives a woman whose life story has stunned the world. Miriam Nabatanzi, often called Mama Uganda, is known for being the mother of 44 children, a feat so extraordinary it has been covered by global media. Her life is not defined by numbers alone, but by the resilience, sacrifice, and love that have carried her through unimaginable challenges. Miriam's journey began in tragedy. At just 12 years old, she was forced into marriage with a man much older than her. By the age of 13, she gave birth to her first set of twins. Over the years, she would have 6 sets of twins, 4 sets of triplets, and 5 sets of quadruplets, an extremely rare reproductive pattern caused by hyperovulation, a genetic condition where a woman releases multiple eggs during each cycle. Her remarkable fertility brought her into the medical spotlight. Doctors confirmed that Miriam's reproductive system was unusually active, and they advised against hormonal birth control, warning it could cause severe health complications. Without access to advanced medical care or resources, she had little control over the rapid succession of pregnancies. Raising 44 children, often without a supportive partner, meant Miriam had to become fiercely resourceful. She took on any job she could find, hairdressing, tailoring, herbal medicine, farming, anything to put food on the table. Despite her efforts, feeding and educating such a large family has been a constant struggle, with school fees alone being a daunting expense. If you had dozens of lives depending on you every single day, would you feel empowered by the responsibility or overwhelmed by the weight of it? Miriam has faced heartbreaking losses too. Over the years, she buried several of her children due to illnesses and the lack of access to proper health care in her region. These tragedies, however, never broke her spirit. She continues to fight for every opportunity to give her surviving children a better future. Her home, though humble, is filled with the noise and energy of a massive family. Meals are cooked in bulk over open fires, clothes are repaired and reused, and older siblings often take on parental roles for the younger ones. Through it all, Miriam remains the emotional anchor, teaching her children the values of unity, hard work, and perseverance. International organizations and well-wishers have occasionally stepped in to help, but the day-to-day demands still fall squarely on her shoulders. Despite the hardships, Miriam speaks with pride about her children, viewing them as her life's purpose rather than a burden. Today, her story is both an inspiration and a stark reminder of the social, medical, and economic challenges faced by women in rural Africa. Miriam Nabatanzi's life may seem extraordinary in numbers, but it is her unshakable will, her capacity for love, and her relentless fight for her children's survival that make her truly remarkable. Prince Randian, born in 1871 in what was then British Guyana, now Guyana, Prince Randian entered the world with tetra amelia syndrome, a rare congenital condition that left him without arms or legs. In an era when physical disabilities often meant isolation and invisibility, Randian's life would take a dramatically different path, one that would make him an international figure, a celebrated sideshow performer, and a living testament to human adaptability. Randian's early life remains largely undocumented, but his heritage was of Indian descent, and he was multilingual, fluent in Hindi, English, German, and French. His linguistic ability was remarkable for someone with limited formal education, suggesting an exceptional memory and intellect. In the late 1880s, he was brought to the United States by legendary showman P.T. Barnum, whose traveling circus and freak shows were famous for showcasing unusual human talents. Billed as the human torso or the human caterpillar, Randian captivated audiences not through pity but through his astonishing skills. On stage, he demonstrated the ability to write paint roll cigarettes and even light them all using only his lips, shoulders, and chin. Perhaps his most famous act involved taking a cigarette, rolling it from scratch, striking a match, and lighting it entirely without assistance, a feat that left audiences speechless. If you suddenly lost the use of your arms and legs, would you have the resilience to adapt and master your independence the way Randian did? Randian's abilities were not exaggerated for show, they were genuine, honed through years of determination. He dressed himself, shaved, and performed other daily tasks independently, refusing to let his condition define his capabilities. This authenticity made him one of Barnum's most respected performers, admired both by colleagues and by the public. His fame reached beyond the circus. In 1932, Randian appeared in the now cult classic horror film Freaks, directed by Todd Browning. His brief yet unforgettable scene rolling and lighting a cigarette on screen became one of the most iconic moments in early cinema history. The performance wasn't just entertainment, it was a powerful statement about autonomy and skill. Away from the spotlight, Randian led a surprisingly conventional personal life. He was married, fathered 5 children, and reportedly lived peacefully in New Jersey when not touring. For over 45 years, he worked with traveling circuses, earning a stable income and providing for his family, a rare achievement for a man with his disability in that era. Prince Randian passed away in 1934 at the age of 63. Though nearly a century has passed since his death, his legacy endures. Historians and disability advocates often cite him as an early example of challenging societal perceptions about what people with disabilities can achieve. His life's story is not one of tragedy, but of triumph. In mastering tasks most people with full mobility take for granted, Prince Randian proved that independence and dignity are not limited by physical form, but are defined by willpower and self-belief. Anak Yai. In 2017, a single candid photograph changed the trajectory of Anak Yai's life. Born in Egypt in 1997 to South Sudanese parents, Anak moved to the United States as a child, settling in Manchester, New Hampshire. Before the fashion world knew her name, she was a biochemistry student at Plymouth State University with dreams of working in medicine. That all changed when she attended Howard University's homecoming celebration, where a street photographer captured her standing in the crowd. The photo, showing her flawless skin, regal posture, and piercing gaze, was posted on Instagram and went viral almost instantly. Agencies around the world began searching for her, and within weeks, Anak had signed with Next Management. What followed was a meteoric rise that few in the industry had ever seen. Just 4 months after signing, she made history at Prada's Fall-Winter 2018 show by becoming the first South Sudanese model, and only the second black woman since Naomi Campbell in 1997 to open a Prada runway. This moment was hailed as a turning point for diversity in high fashion, and Anak's striking debut was praised by both industry veterans and fans around the globe. If one random moment in your life had the power to change your career forever, would you embrace the new path or hold on to your original dream? Anak embraced it completely. She went on to walk for Versace, Saint Laurent, Mugler, Tom Ford, and Chanel, among many others. Her face has graced the covers of Vogue ID and Numero, and she has fronted major campaigns for Estée Lauder, becoming one of the beauty giant's global spokesmodels. What sets Anak apart is not only her elegant bone structure and statuesque height, but also her willingness to speak out about representation. She has been candid about the pressures placed on black models, including the need for better hairstyling and makeup resources backstage that match their skin tones and hair textures. In interviews, she's stressed that diversity should not be a fleeting trend, but a permanent fixture in the industry. Despite her rapid success, Anak has remained grounded. She continues to credit her family for instilling in her a strong work ethic and pride in her South Sudanese heritage. Off the runway, she's known for her warm personality, philanthropy, and commitment to using her platform to inspire young people, particularly African girls, to pursue their ambitions without fear. Today, Anak Yai is more than just a model, she's a symbol of possibility. From a chance photo in a crowd to the pinnacle of fashion, her journey is proof that life can turn in extraordinary directions when preparation meets opportunity. In a notoriously competitive industry, she has not only claimed her place, but has reshaped the definition of beauty for the next generation. Thando Hopa. Born in 1989 in South Africa, Thando Hopa entered the world with albinism, a rare genetic condition characterized by little to no melanin in the skin, hair, and eyes. In a society where misconceptions and stigma about albinism were common, she grew up facing prejudice, harmful myths, and discrimination. Yet Thando's life would evolve into a story of empowerment, one that blends law, fashion, and activism to challenge how the world sees beauty and human worth. Raised by a supportive family, Thando developed a strong sense of self-worth early on. She pursued higher education and became a criminal prosecutor, focusing on cases involving gender-based violence, a role that demanded both legal expertise and emotional resilience. But in 2012, her life took an unexpected turn. South African designer Gert Johan Coetzee approached her with a proposal to model for one of his collections. Initially hesitant, she agreed on one condition: she would use the platform to advocate for change. That decision opened doors to an entirely new arena. Thando's striking presence and grace challenged long-held biases in the fashion industry, particularly toward people with albinism. She began appearing in major fashion campaigns and on runways where her unique look drew global attention. In 2018, she became the first South African of color to be featured in the prestigious Pirelli calendar. And in 2019, she made history again as the first woman with albinism to appear on the cover of Vogue Portugal. If you had the chance to step into a public role that could challenge stereotypes, but also expose you to intense scrutiny, would you take it? For Thando, the answer was yes. Beyond modeling, she emerged as a powerful voice in international advocacy. She has spoken at the World Economic Forum in Davos, participated in United Nations initiatives, and collaborated with organizations promoting diversity, inclusion, and disability rights. Her message is clear. Representation is not just about visibility, but about creating systemic change in how society values difference. Her work has earned her a place on the BBC's 100 Women list, recognizing her as one of the most influential and inspiring women worldwide. She has also been involved in campaigns addressing the dangers faced by people with albinism in Africa, where myths and misinformation can lead to social exclusion and even violence. Despite her global platform, Thando remains deeply connected to her roots. She continues to mentor young people, encouraging them to embrace their uniqueness and to use their voices for causes that matter. Her career path, spanning law, fashion, and activism, demonstrates that beauty and brilliance are not mutually exclusive and that one can be both a style icon and a force for justice. Today, Thando Hopa stands as a beacon for inclusion. She is not only redefining beauty standards, but also influencing how the world talks about diversity, human rights, and representation. Her life proves that visibility can spark transformation, not just for the individual, but for society at large. Orlando Searle. In 1979, a 10-year-old boy from Virginia named Orlando Searle stepped onto a baseball field for a game with friends, unaware that his life was about to change forever. While playing, he was struck hard on the side of the head by a baseball. The hit knocked him to the ground, but after a few minutes, he stood up, brushed it off, and continued playing. He didn't go to the hospital, didn't get scans, and returned home as if nothing had happened. But in the days and weeks that followed, something extraordinary began to happen. Orlando started to notice that he could remember everything, not just important events, but the most mundane details of each day. What he wore, what the weather was like, what meals he ate, and even what television shows were on at specific times. He could recall them all with complete accuracy. His mind had somehow transformed into a living calendar. Doctors and scientists were baffled. Orlando had developed a rare form of acquired savant syndrome, specifically highly superior autobiographical memory, HSAM. Most savants are born with their abilities often linked to conditions like autism. But Orlando's case was unique because his gift appeared after a brain injury. If you suddenly developed an extraordinary mental ability, but it came from an accident, would you see it as a blessing, a burden, or both? Over time, Orlando's abilities only grew sharper. He could recall the exact day of the week for any date after his accident, along with detailed sensory memories from that day. If you told him a date, say April 3rd, 1985, he could instantly tell you what the weather was like and describe personal events from that day as if they had just happened. Despite his remarkable gift, Orlando leads a relatively private life. He has participated in scientific studies aimed at understanding how memory works and how brain injuries can sometimes unlock hidden potential. Researchers have used his case to explore connections between trauma, neural rewiring, and cognitive abilities. Orlando's story has also been featured in documentaries and news segments where he has demonstrated his memory in real time to astonished audiences. Yet Orlando is quick to point out that while his skill is impressive, it's not without drawbacks. The inability to forget means he carries both pleasant and painful memories with equal clarity. Every argument, every sad moment, every disappointment, he remembers them vividly alongside the happy times. Today, Orlando remains one of the most fascinating examples of acquired savant syndrome ever recorded. His life challenges our understanding of human potential, suggesting that the brain may hold abilities we cannot yet fully comprehend. What happened to him on that baseball field was an accident, but what emerged from it was a gift that continues to intrigue scientists and inspire curiosity in people around the world. From prodigies to powerlifters, models to memory masters, These 10 extraordinary individuals prove that strange can also mean remarkable. Each of them shattered expectations, redefined what's possible, and inspired others to embrace their uniqueness. Their stories challenge us to rethink the limits we place on ourselves and on each other. At Legends of Black Excellence, we believe these lives are more than curiosities. They're blueprints for courage, creativity, and resilience. But here's the real question. Do you see their differences as gifts to be celebrated or obstacles to be overcome? Let us know in the comments and join the conversation.